Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Warrior Report here on HBC TV 25. I'm Justin Barrientos. Thank you for joining us here today. We are brought to you by Russell & Associates, coming to you from the 111 Riverfront Building, the Latch Development Center in downtown Winona. We'll start out this week by talking women's basketball with head coach Anna Wurtz. Thanks for joining us here today, and Happy New Year.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Let's talk about, test your memory here and go back to Michigan Tech.
Yeah, you know.
This is December 19th we're going back to. And it was a 59-56 win for you guys. Trailed early.
Right.
And then slowly but surely came back, took your first lead in the second half, and then ended up winning the game. Tell us a little bit about it and how your team battled through that.
Yeah, well, I'd felt early as the game just was starting. I knew that we were getting down, but it was all stuff that we knew we could control. So that was kind of the timeouts, and halftime was just what we look for, what we work on every single day. It's all there. We just need to make sure that we're locking into those little fine-tuned details that we talk about every day, where it's like, okay, that play was there, but we didn't quite have the right footwork, or we didn't have the right spacing, or whatever it needed in that moment. But once we got going, I felt like our offense really started to flow. I feel like that's kind of been our big focus. Our defense has been our bread and butter for the season. We've always been able to rely on that, but we need to get our offense to a point where it's consistently, the ball is moving, we keep it hot, doesn't stick, and I felt like that was a really good sign for things to come. I felt like I was really proud of our kids and how, the motion, and it just felt like a very fun offense to watch, and I'm sure a much more enjoyable offense for them to play in. So.
Yeah, well, and against Michigan Tech, you had three players that scored in double digits. Alex Dornfeld was one of them. She'll be the guest today. Tell us about the contribution that she has made to this team this year.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, just battles through like some injuries. Her ankle's just not great, and so she had that little bit of a setback. But Michigan Tech was a good comeback game for her, and ever since she's been back from break, it just feels like, okay, this is where we left off. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm watching film right now at the end of season. We're playing Northern this week. And it's like, okay, that's Alex Dornfeld. That's what I'm used to seeing. But unfortunately, she had to sit out a good couple months in there, and wasn't able to get shots up, wasn't able to get reps. And so just coming back has been a little bit of a transition, but I feel like she is ready to roll.
All right. And on that same vein, now you've gotten Maddie Shimmons back. She's a couple of games before the break, she came back and has contributed as well. What's it like to have her back in the lineup? Yeah,
same. I mean, we knew what we would lose with her. She just brings a feisty energy, just such a great competitor and tough. And so getting her back, I knew that we'd lose that. What I had kind of not, I guess, forgotten a little bit was the amount of just north-south. Like, she's going to get by people. You know, in that Michigan Tech game, that was when the game was on the line. She was drawing fouls, beating people off the bounce, and creating things. So that was, I'd say, and just our transition gets a little bit better. She's still got to get healthier yet to where I think she can continue to play as fast as she wants to play. But yeah, it's great having her back.
How important was it for you to get that win against Michigan Tech? Because you had two losses before that, and then you're heading into break, and you didn't want that kind of cloud over you. So how important was that win?
I mean, it feels huge. You know, you go into it, it's like, okay, even if this doesn't work out the way that we want it to, we will be fine. Michigan Tech is a really solid team. They're constantly ranked in the top 25 every single year. Great program. So it would not have been a bad loss, but fortunately for us, it was a great win. So it does feel good. There's something about it. You know, the players go home, a little bit more belief, buy-in. Things are working. It all comes down to literally one possession. And you could feel like nothing's working, we're bad, like what's going on versus we're doing great. So that's just basketball.
Speaking of that's just basketball, so you head into the break. You know this is coming. You know you get all the holidays during basketball season, really, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. But this break seemed a little bit longer than usual. It's going to be, 17, 18 days between Michigan Tech and Northern State. So during that time, what are some of the things that you do? Obviously, the players get some kind of a break. You get a little bit of a break. What happens during that time?
A lot of recruiting, truthfully. We're on the road a lot. There's a lot of Christmas tournaments. So Hannah McGlone, thankfully, more than me. That used to be my thing. Don't get me wrong. I went to a couple games myself. But now I've got couple kids of my own and just chaos. So truthfully, I told the girls they're kind of lucky because my Christmas breaks used to be so zoned in to like, I can't stop thinking about basketball, to now I've got two kids that need me, want me, and I didn't have a ton of time to sit and think about basketball. So I think my players benefited from that a little bit. I leave them alone, let them get their break with their families, and I love it. I love that they get to go home and get that like recharge. And we've had a lot of time here just to get a lot of those things that are like at the end of the practice schedule every time that you don't get to. We're able to fit those in during this time of year. So it's been nice, I think.
So did you get a recharge then, being with family
No.
and then being? No, you didn't.
No, this is actually my first day of daycare. They went back to daycare today. So this is my first day of recharging. Just got to completely lock in on Northern, but.
All right. Now, I know that when we were covering some of the men's basketball games that happened past break, you guys had practice, so we got to see you guys there, and then the rest of the team stayed and watched the men play. Tell me a little bit about that and about how important it is to kind of see that still in the mind of basketball, go through practices and kind of get back in the mind of things as you head towards Northern.
Yeah, I'm sure that they could see things just get competitive, want to play. The men have had 2 games throughout this break, and our kids, I didn't schedule anything, and maybe that's something looking in the future that I could do, but I have liked it just to like I said, there's out of bounds plays, sideline plays, zone offense, all these little things that are really important, but we just don't get to them all the time with their class schedules and stuff. But yeah, I think them sitting there, I can see them. I wasn't able to go. I put it on my TV at home because I've got kids once again, and they can't go to the games.
Right.
But I see my crew of people sitting at the end of there, and I love it. I love that they're there. They're getting antsy. They want to play, so I'm excited.
All right, very good. So Northern State is the game on Saturday. Just one game this weekend, and then you get some more time off before the next weekend. Tell us a little bit about how you match up against Northern.
Yeah, they're very similar to what they've been doing for a long time. They're going to be, there's a size advantage on their end. They always play that way. So, maybe a speed advantage on our end. It will be a rebounding battle, no doubt. A lot of physical boards to be had out there. They go through their post players. One of their posts averaging 20 points a game. So, that's where they're going to start and they're going to go to, and they're going to play off of her. And we play 2 different styles. We're going to be out on the perimeter, and they want to play inside mostly. So, yeah, it'll be an interesting matchup.
All right, we talked about injuries and stuff, but health-wise, how do you feel the break helped you, and how are you health-wise heading into Saturday?
Getting there. I think with Maddie and Alex, it's just, I think they are going to be dealing with what they're dealing with, and now it's just what pain can they tolerate through the season. Hopefully little bits of getting better throughout the season, but unfortunately they came back and it still isn't perfect, so they'll be limited through practices and just try to keep them off their feet as much as possible and be ready to play.
Yeah, and I know that your rotation throughout this season has been to get fresh legs on the court and give other people a rest. I imagine that will continue through the rest of the year.
Yeah, we do. We're going pretty deep, and I like it. And now that you put Maddie back in the rotation, I haven't even decided who's starting this weekend, and I don't want to even make the decision. I'd like to see if we can talk about putting 6 people on the floor because I like where we've been at, but Maddie belongs out there, so we'll have to figure that out. But we've got a nice deep rotation, and I love it. So we'll keep playing that way.
All right. Well, good luck against Northern. It'll be good to see you guys back on the court again.
Thank you.
All right. We're going to take a break here on the Warrior Report. When we come back, Alex Dornfeld will join us right after this.
For over 60 years, Russell & Associates has been helping individual and business clients achieve what matters to them. Our trusted advisors have the expertise and experience to help with long-term plans for personal finance, business finance, or wealth management. Focus on what matters most. Call Russell & Associates certified public accountants and advisors today at 507-452-3100 or visit us online at russellcpafirm.com.
And welcome back to the Warrior Report here on HBC TV 25. We are brought to you by Russell & Associates, coming to you from the 111 Riverfront Building, the Latch Development Center in downtown Winona. Alex Dornfeld joins us. Thanks for being here today.
Yeah, of course.
Let's talk a little bit about heading into this season, because I know that you battled some injuries early on, missed a little time, and then got your way back out on the court. What was this offseason like for you?
Coming back was definitely the injury and coming back from it was definitely one of the hardest things I've had to deal with throughout my whole basketball career, just mentally and physically, knowing that it's not really going to get fully better until surgery, and obviously I don't want to do that now in the last year, but yeah, it's definitely been one of the hardest things I've had to deal with, but I think I've grown from it the most. It's the thing that's taught me the most throughout my whole career too. So it's kind of a best of both worlds type thing. I'm glad to have grown from it.
And this is your 5th year. This is your extra
Right.
year. So you made the choice to come back and fight through all this. Is that just how much basketball really means to you?
Yeah, I wasn't quite ready to say goodbye yet.
All right. And then through all that, you were picked the 2023-24 athlete to watch from the NSIC for Winona State. Did you see that? Does that mean anything to you? What does that mean?
Honestly, not much. Within our team, so many people grow and change, and also in the whole conference too. So, roles change every year, and other teams change every year. So it's not really, those type of things don't really mean much to me, I guess, in my head.
All right. So when you come back to this team, you talk about roles changing. What do you feel your role was starting the year to where you are now?
I think from last year, I had more of like a scoring role. Like I needed to really make plays, and obviously still, like it would be nice to do that too. But there's so many more people on our team now that are making a lot of really good plays too. So it's not as individualized as to who needs to be taking shots. It's so much nicer that like it's just so much more spread out, and there's a lot of people making plays. So it's I would say a lot more fun basketball to play than before.
All right. Let's focus on the Michigan Tech game, because in that game you scored 13 points, which you've done, I think, twice this season, so tied a season high. Tell me what it was like in that Michigan Tech game to have one of your best games of the year.
Honestly, those questions are kind of hard to answer because I feel like when I have better games, I'm not really thinking much. I'm more so just playing, and in the games when I look back and I'm like thinking like, oh, I did this wrong, I did this right, whatever, thinking too much, that's when I don't have the best game. So honestly, I just go out there and play, make the right passes, take the shots when I need to, and just play with the team that I have out there that is so versatile and can really do a lot. So.
All right. Well, that's kind of interesting to kind of key in on when you talk about, you don't necessarily know if you're having a good game or not. So is there ever a time where you're feeling like everything's clicking, or is everything kind of the same from game to game?
I think I can tell when I'm thinking too much, and then I just try to get out of my head a little bit, and then halftime is kind of a good time for me to just be like, all right, get out of your head, like stop, like you know what you're doing, just stop thinking about it and just kind of play through. And that kind of helped me too, like going through with the injury thing and just trying to like not think about it and just get back to playing basketball like I have for so many years. I know how to do it. I don't need to think about it.
So when you're on the court, can you block that out? Do you feel that at all, or is there like a twinge every once in a while that you kind of feel? The injury.
There's every once in a while, kind of like dead balls and stuff that it gets me a little bit, but it's when I'm playing, like in the heat of the moment, I honestly can't really feel a thing. More so after the fact.
Okay. How did the break help you at all? Because it's a long break. It's a 17, 18 days. We were talking with Coach Wurtz about that. Did that help you at all to kind of heal a little bit to finish out this season?
Yeah, I think if anything, maybe more mentally it helped. But physically, I think it might have shocked my ankle a little bit coming back. I think taking the break was definitely good. It helped in some ways, and then I think it shocked it a little bit coming back and starting to play on it again. But I think it's just going to stay pretty even from now. I don't see it getting much worse, knock on wood, but I don't really see it getting much better either. As negative as that sounds.
No, that's honest. That's what we like to hear. All right, so Northern State is the game this week. What do you personally have to do? What does the team have to do to be successful this weekend?
I think physical, being able to be physical, because we are a little bit undersized in some of our guard positions, and if I play a bigger post position, and they're a pretty big team, so I think being physical and rebounding is going to be big, and being able to battle in the post is going to be a really big thing because they're a lot bigger than us in a lot of areas. So.
All right. Well, I appreciate the time here today, and good luck against Northern.
Thank you.
All right. And we're going to take a break here on the Warrior Report. When we come back, we'll talk men's basketball with head coach Todd Eisner right after this.
For over 60 years, Russell & Associates has been helping individual and business clients achieve what matters to them. Our trusted advisors have the expertise and experience to help with long-term plans for personal finance, business finance, or wealth management. Focus on what matters most. Call Russell & Associates Certified Public Accountants and Advisors today at 507-452-3100 or visit us online at russellcpafirm.com.
And welcome back to the Warrior Report here on HBC TV 25. We are brought to you by Russell & Associates, coming to you from the 111 Riverfront Building, the Latch Development Center in downtown Winona. We'll switch now to men's basketball, head coach Todd Eisner. And let's talk a little bit about the break before we get into the two games after, because you had a 3-game losing streak heading into break. So what was kind of the mood of the team? What was your mindset as you sent your guys off to have a little bit of Christmas break and then plan for the games after?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the game before Christmas, wasn't the way we wanted to finish. We obviously played two really good teams in Mankato and Duluth, and played better against Duluth, and really felt like it would be a positive note to obviously get up to Michigan Tech and finish this first semester in a good way, and just didn't get it done. We didn't handle it mentally very well. It was we were told by me for a couple of days that it was going to be challenging from an officiating standpoint. It was everything that we thought it was going to be, and then we still didn't handle it well. And we fouled their best player 3 times on 3-point shots in the last 2 minutes of the game, and he's an 87% free throw shooter. He went 8 of 9, and yet we still had a chance to win it. We had a driving layup down 1 with about 4 seconds to go and didn't get that done. But just mentally, really was disappointed with how we handled adversity that day, and and gave away a game that we feel like we should have won. So. So that's a tough way to go into the break.
Right.
And so our guys knew when we got back that it was an important 4 days of practice. And I told the guys in the locker room before the Parkside game, I said I had a bad taste in my mouth that I wanted to get rid of, and I just wanted us to handle hard better. And I thought we did a nice job of that coming out of the break. So the first, it was good to have 2 games here instead of just practicing. I thought it was good for a lot of reasons. One was to get that taste out of our mouth, and 2 was to get Illumide and Gavin back into the flow of things a little bit, and hopefully get us ready for a big game on Saturday.
All right, so let's talk about Illumide Adiladone, because he had missed a lot of time early on. When did you know that he was going to be able to come back? Did you know that it was going to be Parkside?
Yeah, we were hoping. I mean, that was kind of the plan going into it. So Lou and Stacy and our training staff and team of doctors, kind of got together and came up with a plan to kind of gradually get him moving a little bit and maybe pick up the pace from where it had been for a while. And we were kind of all on the same page once we got out of that meeting, and felt like it was time for him to at least see where his foot was at. We had been at 8 weeks or 9 weeks and in the healing process, and so on day 1, Lou thought he was ready to play, in games, and that's a good thing about it. He's a worker, and he wants to get out there and play the game that he loves, but we also need that foot to cooperate. And so it was still a gradual process, but by the time we went to Michigan Tech, he had gotten some full practice, half court activity, and so we felt like if his foot handled that well when we got back from the 7-day break, that we had a chance to move him forward, and thankfully that's what happened.
All right. One of the things about the Parkside game, and then the game after that on Tuesday against Crown, you've done a great job in rebounding. I think Parkside was 45-21, and I think you're at least plus 10 against Crown in rebounding. For the season, I think you're plus 4.
Yeah.
But obviously that's a great thing to be able to do as you head into NSIC play this weekend. Talk about what you've seen in the rebounding game.
Yeah, it's a pretty simple formula at the end of the day. Our NSIC defensive field goal percentage isn't very good. It's at 45%. And so at the end of the day, if you want to simplify it, if 1 out of 2 shots is going in the net, there's not many shots to rebound. And so where that discrepancy in a good way against Parkside comes about is, the second half they couldn't score. It was as good a defense as we've played in a long time. They was 34-29 at the half. They hit a 3 about a minute and a half into the second half. Then I think they went 7.5 minutes without scoring. If you do that, there's a lot of balls coming off the rim that are available to go rebound, and our guys did a really nice job of limiting them to 1 shot. And that's where those numbers came in. And we did a good job in the offensive glass. I think we had 12 offensive rebounds. So it all starts with your defensive efficiency and getting people to miss shots. And if you do that, then you need to limit them to 1. And then against Crown, with all due respect, I mean, that's a team we should out-rebound. But our numbers have been pretty average in the NSIC through 7 games, starting with our defensive field goal percentage. And so, we've got to make sure if we can keep people between 40 and 42%, that's to our benefit. And then hopefully we limit them to 1 shot, and then our rebounding numbers should be pretty good.
All right. So in your estimation, did the Crown game go as you kind of expected it to?
Yeah, I give credit to our starters. I thought they had a good approach to the game. Those games make me more nervous than playing Mankato. Because if you're not ready, those teams are capable of biting you if you really, disrespect them and not prepare for them, and you're not ready to go and play with the level of intensity that's expected of you, no matter who you play. I thought our guys handled that pretty well overall last night, and it allowed us to get Lou in the game and give him some more minutes. It allowed Gavin to get in the game, and allowed some other guys that haven't played as much to get some minutes. So Carter Lomas obviously came in and shot the ball really well. And so it was just good overall for us to get some of the starters some limited minutes, get them some rest, and then also give some guys some opportunities that maybe hadn't been doing that.
All right, so Northern State is the game on Saturday. Yeah. I know it's a little bit of a down year for them, but again, in the NSIC, you really can't look at records and take anybody lightly. So how do you feel you match up against Northern?
Yeah, they've got 2 really good players that are just playing outstanding. Jackson Money at 6'10" is a tough matchup. Because he's as good facing up as he is with his back to the basket in the post. His footwork inside is tremendous. He does a great job of lifting the defense and getting them off balance so that he can clear himself to get a jump hook. And then if you try to take that away, then he just goes to the 3-point line and knocks down shots at 6'10" and can put it on the deck a little bit. And so he's a really tough matchup for our 5s. And then Josh Dilling moved to the point after their first game because their point guard retore his ACL, and he has just been out of this world. He in league play in 6 games, he's shooting over 60% from the floor and over 60% from the 3, making a bunch of them and averaging 5 assists a game. And he's really crafty with the ball. Again, another guy whose footwork is tremendous, really smart, and then obviously really skilled. So they've got 2 guys that are just playing at an elite level. Our hands are going to be full at the 5 and at the point guard position, and we're going to have to do a good job on making their day really hard.
We got about 2 minutes left in the segment, but you mentioned assists, and that's one of the things that really stood out on the Crown game. There was so much good passing, finding open players from your team. That's one of the things that you had to have been happy about against Crown.
Yeah, and we need to work on it. We have not been doing a good job. We had 16 turnovers against Parkside. That was really the only negative. I mean, we scored 59 points. We weren't horrible offensively. We weren't great offensively. But we had 16 possessions where we didn't get a shot. And so we really talked to our guys about valuing the ball and making simple plays and just the timing of our offense. And I thought the timing of the ball moving around the perimeter last night was really good. And we need to get better at that. I thought Declan was much better out of ball screens in terms of hitting people when they were open, which we also talk about the timing of passes. So you can throw the ball to people when they're open, but if you throw it to them a half a count late, maybe the defense is recovered and now that shot availability is not there. So I thought our just overall approach that way was better. We've got to make sure we do that now back when we're in the NSIC. And then we got to take care of the ball. I mean, it's been a great pride of ours over the last couple of years, and we've been very spoiled. I mean, obviously we've had Devin and Owen was great last year. I think he finished 2nd or 3rd in the nation in assist to turnover ratio. Dev led the nation assist to turnover ratio, and we haven't been that solid with the ball. But we also have a high standard to live up to because of those 2 guys. So anytime we're at 10 turnovers, give or take, we feel pretty good about it. Anything more than that, we're not playing to our level of expectation.
All right. Well, I appreciate the time here, and good luck against Northern.
All right, Justin, thanks.
All right, we're going to take a break here on the Warrior Report. When we come back, Illumide Adili will join us right after this.
For over 60 years, Russell & Associates has been helping individual and business clients achieve what matters to them. Our trusted advisors have the expertise and experience to help with long-term plans for personal finance, business finance, or wealth management. Focus on what matters most. Call Russell & Associates Certified Public Accountants and Advisors today at 507-452-3100 or visit us online at russellcpafirm.com.
And welcome back to the Warrior Report here on HBC TV 25. We are brought to you by Russell & Associates, coming to you from the 111 Riverfront Building, the Latch Development Center in downtown Winona, joined by Olumide Adelidun. Thanks for joining us here today.
For sure.
Let's talk a little bit about your younger years and growing up. From what I understand, your family maybe moved around a little bit before you settled in Calgary?
Yeah, we moved a lot growing up because my dad and mom's job had us moving. I lived in Paris, went back home to Nigeria. That's where we're from. Canada, the UK. We were just moving a lot. Yeah, but it was a fun time, definitely. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite place where you grew up?
I gotta say Canada. That's where I lived most of my life. But that's my favorite for sure.
Okay. So you spent most of your high school, all of your high school time in Canada. Is that correct?
Yeah.
All right. And so, what was high school basketball like in Canada?
It was definitely different because I played AAU and we'd play in the States, and it'd be like two different type of, like a lot faster, different type of players. But there's definitely some players back home, but it was definitely like two different basketball games for sure for growing up. Yeah.
All right. So after high school, then I assume you get a lot of offers. You choose Ohio.
Yeah.
How did you choose Ohio?
I had got 2 offers, and I went to visit a couple schools, a couple D2s, and then they had somehow figured out I was in the States at the time, and on my way back I just stopped by and I had played with the team, and then I kind of just loved it there. It's a small little town, and I like the coaches, like the players, and then just how it's kind of really lucky how it happened for sure.
All right. Yeah. So how did you decide that your time at Ohio was done, and how did you decide to come here to Winona State?
I personally I wasn't playing enough. I didn't think with my ability I was using it to my maximum potential. So I was like, I'm gonna try and get somewhere that I can use my abilities to the max and also help a team win. And then luckily Winona, Coach Dev came my way, and I came here, and first off, the scenery is beautiful here. My dad, he loves it. He said he's gonna come back. He visited. He said he's gonna come back, and I just love my teammates. First time playing with him felt really natural, and Coach Dev, he's my guy. Everybody know that, but yeah, it was really perfect here, and it fit me very well. Yeah.
All right. One of the things that I learned about you in doing some research is not only do you enjoy basketball, but you enjoy chess as well.
Yeah.
How does chess help you in basketball?
It's my part of my pregame routine. It just gets my brain flowing. I've been playing it since a kid, and it's just really fun. I don't know why it is, but it's just really fun for me. Yeah.
All right. Do you see the basketball court like a chessboard?
Nah.
No.
I wouldn't say so. Nah. I wouldn't say there's no correlation to it, but it just gets my brain going in the mornings before games and all that. Yeah.
All right. So you finally get your chance now, healed up as much as you can be to be able to be on the floor. What was it like to get on the floor against Parkside?
It felt amazing. It was a little nerve-wracking at first. It was just like trying to not do too much to mess the rhythm of the team up, but still trying to get myself going. And it just felt really good to be back for sure. Yeah.
All right, and then you kind of had a breakout game against Crown where you get to double digits in points, and everything kind of looked really natural to you on the floor. What was the game against Crown like for you?
It was a good, these 2 non-conference games were good to get my feet under get my legs under my shot, all that, just warming up to whenever we get back to our league play, and I think it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good for me for sure. Yeah.
All right. So what is practice like now that you know that you're going to be getting into games and you're actually preparing to be on the floor again?
Just making sure everything has reason to it, has a purpose, not just just going through the motion. Just making sure, like Coach said, not just punching the clock, just actually having reason to focus the detail and all that. Just because there's not a lot of time, but with a little amount of time, I gotta make sure I use to the max potential.
All right, so you do get your first league game against Northern. What do you need to do to be successful? What does the team need to do to be successful?
Just whatever Coach game plan is, we got to stay detailed to it, because if we just, like you said, against Parkside, we play defense, it's going to be hard for teams to beat us because we're going to score eventually. But if we stop other teams from scoring, we're going to be able to come out on top most of the time.
All right. Well, I appreciate the time here, and good luck against Northern.
For sure. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for watching the Warrior Report here on HBC TV 25. We'll see you next week.